Yo, welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade. Today on the show, we've got an Air Jordan 6 sample from Nicki Minaj that has people worked up, some things we're hoping for in 2023, this week's hottest releases, and of course, our Hard Pass. All right. Let's start with some hot takes. In this week's edition of Nice Kicks Instagram really just be out here trolling everybody, we've got the Nike Calm slides in John Geiger's latest project. In one post, you've got a subtle poking of the stance. The other, accusations that are probably false but gets everybody worked up. And that's what you call engagement, kids. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll have to go make faces that I would never make in real life for the thumbnails of this video because that's what the algorithm likes or something. Scottie Pippen's pseudo signature shoes, the Nike Air More Up-Tempo, is scheduled to retro again in 2023. Weird. I thought I just saw a pair available online the other day. Nike should really just give up the fight to keep these exclusive and make these perpetually available like Panda Dunks and Air Force Ones. That way, they can give Scottie royalties and he doesn't have to sell NFTs in 2023. Man, I was with Scottie for the Petty Tour after The Last Dance, but NFTs? Nah. Let's save Scottie from himself before he goes into the metaverse for reals. Mark Parker is now the new chairman of the board over at Disney. You can tell which sneakerheads live in a bubble because a lot of the jokes were like, oh, get ready to take L's for Disneyland tickets, or now Disney's going to make exclusive merch that will be bought by resellers and leave the real fans out in the dust. Like, all of those things already happened to Disney stands, kids. Pay attention. They originated the why does this billion-dollar company that we throw all of our money at still hate us trope. They were complaining about the Lion King VHS tapes. Yes, VHS tapes being vaulted when most of you weren't even born. If anything, Parker is really just gonna learn more ways to annoy you while still taking your money. And speaking of predictable, I didn't even have to see the leaked image that is allegedly Jason Tatum's signature shoe to know what the reaction was going to be. Trash. Why did Jason approve this? Only reason anybody signs with Jordan Brand is for the PE retros, blah, blah, blah. I personally don't have an opinion on these yet because I prefer to wait for an official reveal. Somebody made Magikarp custom sneakers with flippers and now I just can't sleep at night. I don't know what it is, man. The way the flippers flap, it's like those fish that sing, don't worry, be happy, that kind of creep me out. Stop giving me nightmare fuel, Magikarp. I know this is just payback because I never cared enough to evolve you into Gyarados back in the days, isn't it? That's what this is about. An unreleased Air Jordan 6 low sample made for Nicki Minaj to celebrate her 2014 album, The Pink Print, was a topic of discussion of the sneaker internets this week, and it wasn't all positive. Actually, there wasn't any positive feedback for these, and I'm willing to bet that's the reason why it never got an actual release, even in limited numbers. The first strike against it was the use of the Air Jordan 6 low. Air Jordan 6s in the proper higher cut? Iconic. Michael Jordan won his first championship in a simple black and infrared colorway. That's the image we have of the Air Jordan 6. And whenever it deviates from that formula, it just doesn't look or feel right. So 6 lows? No. Follow that up with bright pink and purple gradient hues and the color blocking of the Carmines? Nah. The pink print thumbprint and font treatment that resembles the album cover in place of Nike Air in the back? Well, I can get behind that, since it's a Nicki collab. If the color blocking resembled the infrareds or the sport blues, I think it could have worked. The way it looks right now, it reminds me of all those sunset custom Air Force Ones and Yeezys that I saw every other week last summer. You guys remember, right? It's also a reminder of the crappy era when sneaker companies thought that pink it and shrink it was the way into the wallets of female consumers. Maybe Jordan Brand saw these samples and thought, yeah, we've gone too far, and started to offer more OGs in women's sizes. That being said, I wouldn't be surprised if an updated version of these dropped someday. It probably won't be a Nicki collab with the pink print branding because I don't think the nostalgia for that album and that era of Nicki is quite there yet. It will most likely be a general release in kid sizes that doesn't even acknowledge their previous slice as a sample pair for one of the biggest musical artists of the 2010s. Now, if someone can just unearth those Air Jordan 3s that were made for Drake and Lil Wayne so we can talk about how bad and lazy those were, well, we'll carve out some space for those disasters in a future episode. All right, it's time for the Heat Check, where we bring you everything that's dropping this week. Thanks to Sneakers, Nice Kicks, Sneaker News, JD Sports, and Foot Locker for all the info, but really, thanks Google. We have the Nike Dunk Low Montreal Bagel on the 17th for $120. The Nike Dunk High Panda restock on the 19th for $125. The Low Panda restock on the 19th as well for $110. The Sean Witherspoon Adidas Orchestro on the 19th. The New Balance 2002R Lunar New Year on the 19th for $150. The Nike Dunk Low Remastered Mint Foam on the 19th for $120. The Nike Air Penny 2 Black and Faded Spruce on the 20th for $200. And then our co-pick of the week is the Jordan Luka 1 Long Range, aka Bread, on the 18th for $110. Look, I get it. The days when we associate legendary moments by star players to their signature shoes that they wear are long over. Donovan Mitchell scored 71 freaking points last week, and nobody's talking about the Spider-Gwen Dawn issue 4s that he wore. If Luka Doncic scored 101 points tomorrow in his Jordan Luka 1s, it still wouldn't cause sales to spike because they don't go with everything like dunks or dirty white Air Forces. And that still annoys me. Clean your shoes, people. Look, so when we pick the Jordan Luka 1 in a classic black and red colorway, it's because we're protesting the lack of respect being given to these shoes just because they don't pop your Instagram like counts. And then our co-pick of the week is the Maj Runner Panda. Pre-orders opened on January 20th. Shout out to the homie Maj for finally dropping the runner in the colorway that we've all wanted. That's right, the most wanted, beloved, hated, demanded color scheme in sneakers. Black and white. You want to step your game up from dunks? This is that pair, man. Angry Panda throwing stuff? Not included, though. All right, it's time for this week's Hard Pass. We're going to take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go. I don't know why I said culture like that. Anyway, let's do this a little different this week. During our last episode of 2022, we went with Co-Writer's big list of grievances. This time, we want to talk about a few things that we're looking forward to in 2023, just to show you all that he's not a Grinch like he's been framed as here on the show. He does have a heart, even if that heart doesn't understand that the word appreciate is meant to be a compliment and not some passive-aggressive statement that has multiple layers that need to be peeled back. Gosh, seriously, nervous. Anyway, now I see why he might be a little upset. I probably shouldn't. I apologize. I shouldn't have said that. My bad. All right, here's co-writer list of non-grievances. The MCU riding the ship. We're probably in the minority here that thinks that phase 4 of the MCU wasn't that bad. It was long and at times aimless thanks to some mediocre films, Eternals, and, some bloated Disney Plus shows, Captain America: Winter Soldier. But it also gave us things we didn't know that we wanted, like a Filipino grandma telling multiple Peter Parkers to clean up the mess they made, learning the proper way to say no more, Killmonger being super into anime, Happy Matt Murdock Daredevil thanks to She-Hulk, Vishon, and Ned. We got the freaking man thing in the MCU, and that doesn't happen without Kevin Feige. Both the man and the AI bot mining the deepest of cuts in the comic books for content. But with all that being said, Phase 5 kicks off this year, and it's looking like the fireworks factory we've been waiting for. By the end of the first 3 entries, Quantumania, Secret Invasions, and Garden Volume 3, things could be very different. Major characters could be done. Advance RIP to Drax if that trailer is any indication. And alliances could switch from good to bad or the other way around as Kang is positioned as being an even bigger threat than Thanos ever was. All the hand-wringing about Marvel losing their touch could be snapped away if those first Phase 5 entries are as fire as the trailers have hyped them up to be, or it could be worse. We're betting on the former here on the show. Taking out a second mortgage for Victor Wembanyama. Every so often, there's an NBA draft prospect that changes everything. All of the scouts freak out, all of the social media stans crown their guy the GOAT, and dorks like co-writers spend way too much money on their rookie cards, hoping for a big payday down the line. Nobody was thinking that way when Michael Jordan was a rookie. Overproduction prevented Shaquille O'Neal cards from skyrocketing, and LeBron James might turn out to be the right player at the right time when all is said and done. Now, it's too early to tell if there are too many rare cards that will hurt the future value of Zion or Luka, but we'll see. That being said, co-writer is going to spend a stupid amount of money on Victor Wembanyama rookie cards because that boy is the truth. Can we get Paul Pierce to give up his nickname now? Even though he's 19 years old, he's already the OP joke character we make when we first fire up My Player in 2K. Over 7 feet tall. He can shoot, handle the ball, play defense, and got a little dog in him? Man, that's not even fair. In 2005, co-writer jokingly told his sister to name her kid LeBron. Sure, Young LeBron was great by then, but it still could have gone bad. Will he name another kid Wemby? Maybe, maybe not. But he will be investing in some prisms in the near future, and that's for sure. Next up, WWE may be going LIV, or live for those that don't know the golf thing. So live golf. Anyway, all right. So in what might be the most succession thing ever, Vince McMahon is back in charge of the WWE. All those happy days when Triple H was riding the creative ship might soon be coming to an end, as the old man who lost his touch at least a decade ago will be at the gorilla position once again to make Michael Cole sound less like a passionate fan and more like a corporate shill. But that's not what has people worried. No, it's the very real possibility that WWE could be bought by the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund and go the way of Live Golf. Look, we've said our piece about Live here on the show. Sports washing is real and troubling. At the same time, I can't fault people who want to sign on and earn life-changing money for themselves and their families. What I can fault is the product. And so far, Live Golf's format has been, well, boring. If Vince allows the Saudis to change the WWE format, whether it be in the form of propaganda for the new owners, a change for the worse in how women are presented or even featured on the show, and certain wrestlers, Sami Zayn, are shown the door because of their beliefs, then it might be time to leave the memories alone. Man, Mercedes Moné sure picked the right time to not come back to WWE. Wearing basketball shoes with the Fire John. Look, it's 2023. That means things that were cool from 2000 to 2003 and 2010 to 2013 should be cool again if the laws of nostalgia are to be followed. So, if you see myself or co-writer out in these streets wearing non-Pro Show Kobe 8s with jeans and a black shirt that's covered up by a gray cardigan, we're just reliving the good old days, kids. And then catching our breath, maybe. When you ask co-writer how his career has played out, he likes to say that video games are the old love and sneakers are the new love. And in 2023, he'll be able to appreciate both on different levels because there's going to be huge shifts in their respective cultures. After the pandemic pushed a number of marquee titles, some are finally set to drop in 2023, including the sequel to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, remakes to Dead Space and Resident Evil 4, Diablo 4, and maybe even Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Co-writer will definitely be buying all of those titles. That's a lie. Well, the Zelda sequel he's for sure buying. He can't wait for the rest to pop up on Xbox Game Pass or PlayStation Plus. And while those big names are on the horizon, he still has a huge backlog to get through that is only getting worse by the day the more time he spends on Fortnite and Vampire Survivors DLC. And he knows there's going to be an indie game somewhere out there that he hasn't heard of that is going to take up hours of his time and will probably win his Game of the Year award that he tells nobody about but himself. Meanwhile, on the sneaker side, it looks like 2023 is going to be the year when people actually feel things slowing down. Co-writer has his eyes set on a potential Cherry 12 retro this year, but that might be it on that front. That doesn't mean that we'll see the end of hype culture and resellers pissing us off every weekend as you try to get the thing you want on sneakers, but it will be different. Some people who got into the sneaker world during the pandemic era will see that phase of their lives end and move on to the next thing. Old heads who have been threatening to leave for years now might actually leave this time around. Resellers who don't cash out now are going to have to get creative as people start to get bored with seeing stores filled with nothing but dunks and ones. Nike and Adidas will continue to thrive in this new environment, but they're going to need to find their next hit from the archives, like Foamposites or new models like Ultra Boost, like they did in the 2010s, if they don't want to give up tiny chunks of market share to brands like New Balance and Asics or even Curry. Okay, well, maybe not Curry brand, and at least not until they get rid of the UA branding. But I promise we'll be checking out some Solomon shoes this year. That's going to be it. All right. That's for this show, you guys. Thank you guys for watching Hard Pass. I am Jacques Slade. I'll see you next week. If you'd like to possibly be featured in a future episode, call us at 818-493-9325. Leave a short message, your social media if you want. No more than 30 seconds. All right. I'll see you next week. Peace.